Don't trust the paintings in your home, they may be dangerous. By username JBBaxter1. When I was around 8, I remember that my family got our house redone. Specifically, we got hardwood floors built in my sister's and I's rooms because we had carpet at that point, and my parents wanted to change that. So as construction began and the dust began to pile up in our house, I had to sleep on an air mattress in my parents' bedroom. Besides having to listen to my dad snoring every night, it was actually a pretty nice setup. I felt more free in the air mattress and less constricted than I did in my framed bed. Plus, it was a nice change of scenery from my bedroom. However, what I did not like about it was having to use my parents' bathroom. It wasn't because the bathroom was dirty or run down or anything like that. It was because of this damned painting they had hanging up in there. For some context, my parents have a lot of these fake types of paintings in the house where they just put a copy of the actual painting in a frame. Most of these consisted of women in fancy-looking old-timey garments. They had these hung up in various parts of the house, and most of the time I never thought anything of them. However, the one they had hanging in the bathroom always freaked me out, and I can explain why. For starters, the woman in the painting just looked plain creepy. She had extremely pale skin that made her look like a ghost. Her larger-than-life tall torso made her seem inhuman, not to mention her long pointy fingers made it seem like she wanted to tear you apart if she ever met you. However, the worst part about this painting was definitely how her eyes stared right at you no matter how you looked at her. No matter what section of the bathroom you were in, she could always see you. Even if it was in a mirror reflection, her eyes would still follow you. Since our house was so covered in dust, I didn't have access to my usual hall bathroom and had to use my parents' bathroom for everything. Most of the time I tried to look away from the painting when I had to go in there to do something. However, every now and then I couldn't help but get the feeling that she was watching me. She got worse at night time when I had to get up and use the bathroom. I closed my eyes most of the time since I was able to navigate most of the bathroom by memory. However, I had a hard time washing my hands with my eyes closed, so one night I ended up accidentally looking at her. For a few seconds, she seemed to be staying still as usual. That quickly changed when I saw her appear to breathe. Her chest seemed to be rising up and down as she stared at me in the mirror. Freaked out, I slammed the bathroom door and didn't use the bathroom for the rest of the night. When I woke up the next morning, I brushed it off as a coincidence. I was probably just tired and was seeing things as a result. After all, I didn't really feel like I got a great night of sleep that night, so I didn't bother to tell anyone about it and continued my day as usual. The next night, I had to use the bathroom again. This time, I didn't get up right away and stayed under the comfort of my sheets for a bit. My body felt like it was warning me not to go back there again. However, sooner or later, I was going to need to. I squeezed my eyes shut the whole trip to the bathroom. I wasn't going to open them no matter what. At least, that was until I heard a scraping sound. The scraping grew louder and louder, like something was dragging a sharp tool against stone. I shuddered and cautiously opened my eyes to look at the painting. But when I looked at it, there was no woman there, just an empty black background. My brief moment of confusion was short-lived when the woman's face popped up from the bottom of the frame. I let out a shriek and she pushed against the glass with her sharp fingers and smiled at me with her pointy, fang-like teeth. I burst out the bathroom and slammed the door shut once again. Because of all the noise I made, my parents were wide awake. "What's wrong, Justin?" my mum asked. I swear the painting in the bathroom just moved," I said. "Oh dear, you're probably just imagining it," said my mum. I shook my head rapidly in disagreement. My parents sighed, obviously tired and not wanting to deal with this right now. "Ah dear, I can check it out if you want, buddy. But then you will have to go back to sleep," asked my dad. I nodded in agreement, and he went over and checked it out. I was expecting the woman to still be trying to escape the frame, but instead she was sitting back to her usual position and looked like her normal self. She didn't look anything like the demon I just saw. "See? Nothing weird about this painting," said my dad. "Can you please go back to sleep now?" I reluctantly nodded and slipped back into my covers. However, I wasn't able to sleep the rest of the night in case the woman was able to break through the door. Luckily, she didn't seem to have any power to escape the bathroom, so I made it through the night safely. The next day, I found myself not only tired, but dreading the upcoming night. School seemed to zoom by, and it felt like the rest of the day was fast-forwarded as well. All I could think about was what I was going to do tonight. I couldn't just go in there with nothing to protect myself, especially since she seemed to be getting stronger. During the afternoon, I snuck a baseball bat under my parents' bed and waited for night to roll around. I would have brought a knife or something more deadly, but I didn't trust myself to get up close and stab her like that. The bat was going to have to do. That night, I lay on the air mattress, unmoving. I didn't dare fall asleep. Minutes passed, followed by hours. I began to grow more tired. My eyelids almost threatened to betray me until I heard a loud thump. This was followed by a series of footsteps that sounded like a large dog walking across a hard floor. Panicked, I reached under the bed and grabbed the bat. I walked over to the door and opened it very slowly. As I did, I saw a pair of glowing eyes in the back of the bathroom in the walk-in closet. Everything in my body told me to turn back, but I continued to walk forward. "I see you," I called out. "What do you want?" The pair of glowing eyes seemed to grow taller as I saw the woman stand up on both legs. She never broke her fanged smile as she walked towards me. "I want to eat." Why? When you're trapped in a frame like that for so long with nothing to eat, you'd be hungry too. "I won't let you." The tall woman only laughed and proceeded to get down on all fours. She sprinted towards me like an animal. I tried to swing the bat, but I missed, and she bit down on my leg. I screamed out in pain as her teeth sunk into my flesh. It was the most pain I felt in a long time, and it was enough to get me to start swinging the bat against her head. Her skull must have been made out of titanium, because each hit seemed to do nothing. I yelled out even louder as she sunk her teeth in deeper. I was getting desperate. That's when I remembered that her eyes could be the vulnerable spot. I jammed the bat down hard in one of her eyes, which caused her to shriek in pain. I panted and watched as she gripped her bleeding eyeball while screaming. She stumbled her way to the frame while dripping blood on the floor. My stomach felt sick as I watched her slither into the painting and disappear from my sight. "Justin, what the hell is going on?" I heard. My parents burst through the door and gasped. As they looked at me, they saw a bite mark on my leg, and I told them about the woman in the painting. When they looked at it, they found the woman was sitting in her usual position, but with a bloody and damaged eyeball.